Here's something almost every parent finds surprising. At 6 weeks, your baby had a tiny tail. Yes, a tail, completely normal, completely temporary. At 7 weeks, they look almost like a tiny seahorse, and it's just one of the extraordinary things happening this week. Because right now, your baby is growing the earliest beginnings of hands, a rapidly developing brain, and even starting to look a little like a tiny seahorse. And one development this week shocks most people. Let me show you. Your baby is now about the size of a blueberry, roughly 1 centimeter long, and some compare them at this stage to a tiny black bean. That may sound tiny, but they've already doubled in size since last week. Think of this as your baby's first major construction phase. The blueprint is there, and now, everything is being built at once. Building on last week, those early limb buds are now becoming more defined. Tiny arms and legs are beginning to take clearer shape. Right now, they look more like little paddles than limbs, almost like tiny canoe oars. But over the coming weeks, those paddles will lengthen, separate, and become fingers and toes. These are the first beginnings of the hands that may one day hold yours. And what's happening in the face right now is even more remarkable. Small depressions are appearing that will become nostrils. The foundations of the eyes are beginning to form. And your baby's brain is developing at an astonishing pace. And although the earliest heart activity began earlier, that tiny primitive heart tube is continuing to develop and becoming more complex this week. In fact, this is the week some of the very first synapses begin to form, tiny connections that allow nerve cells to communicate. In other words, the earliest wiring of your baby's nervous system is beginning. Just pause and think about that. All of this. At just 1 centimeter long. But here's something many people don't realize is also happening this early. The foundations of bones are beginning. Right now, the skeleton is mostly soft cartilage. But this week, early bone formation starts. And while all of that is happening with your baby, your body's doing a lot too. If you're feeling bloated, exhausted, heavy, emotional, there's a very good reason. A lot of it comes down to progesterone. This hormone helps support the pregnancy. But it also slows digestion, which can mean bloating, indigestion, burping, and that uncomfortable heavy feeling after meals. You're not imagining it. Your body is doing something purposeful. And honestly, a lot of what you're feeling this week is completely normal. A few simple things can help. 2 things I'd focus on this week. First, if you haven't already, arrange your booking appointment with your GP or midwife. That starts your formal antenatal care. Second, smaller, more frequent meals, and even gentle walking can genuinely help bloating and sluggish digestion. Nothing dramatic. Even 10 minutes can help. And before we finish, one important thing to know this week. Light spotting in early pregnancy can sometimes be completely normal, but heavier bleeding, particularly with pain or cramping, should be assessed promptly. Because occasionally, this can signal miscarriage or an ectopic pregnancy. Please don't sit with uncertainty. Get checked. Information is always better than uncertainty. Week 7 can feel intense. The symptoms are real. The exhaustion is real. The emotional roller coaster is real. But in just 7 weeks, a single cell has become a tiny, complex human being, with a forming face, a beating heart, budding hands, and yes, a tiny tail. That is extraordinary. And next week, something remarkable happens. By week 8, your baby may begin making tiny, spontaneous movements, and web-like hands and feet start becoming visible, while that early neural wiring becomes even more organized. I'll show you what that looks like in the next episode. If you missed week 6, it's right here. And week 8 is next, and you won't want to miss it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can follow along with each week of your pregnancy journey. We're still a new channel, and your support really does help us grow and keep making clear, reassuring videos like this for parents-to-be. This information is intended for general education only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you have any concerns, please speak to your GP or a qualified healthcare professional.